What's going on, YouTube? Let 'em peek here. We're back, baby. We're back, but this time we're not live. This is rare. I don't record very often, but I'm gonna have to start doing it. Why? Because we just got released the video that leaked on the live stream, right? So you and I, me and all of you, are gonna review what got leaked on the live stream. We're going to do it together right here, right now. Oh, if you guys haven't joined the Discord yet, highly, highly recommend it. Discord be popping. It's blowing up like crazy. So, with all that said, let's jump into it. Now, I have on the screen here, I've got the Z23, which is the Tech Tree German DD. And we're going to review the new DD coming in comparison with the Z23. So, as everybody knows that watches the streams, watches my videos, I play battleships as a main, and as a secondary, I play cruisers. That's what I do. I like to dish out DPM, right? Punishment all across the map. That's me. I don't do this whole skating around unspotted thing. That's just not my thing. I don't like dishing out torpedoes and then waiting for them to reload. Like, I just want a DACA. You know what I mean? So, we're going to jump into it right here, right now. And we're going to compare it to this Z, and we're going to see what is different. Okay. I will pause this video as we go along here. Look at that detail, man. Look at that detail. Just look at it. I love the detail in this game. Look at that detail. Look at that. Every little rivet is just, I love it. I love the detail. Pretty open. You guys can see my cursor. Pretty open right here and here. Might be some areas to maybe let shells go through here. Might be kind of spicy for a DD player. Yeah, look at that big open space right there. Shells can go through. That gun might get knocked a lot. We'll see. Shells going through here and hitting the side of the gun or hitting the front of the gun, whatever. Depending on where he's looking. Overall, from the look of it, it doesn't look like that bad of a DD. Okay, so here we got survivability up here. So let's compare to the Z. Wow. The Z23 base is 14,700. So 14,700. This one's 17,000. I don't know about you guys, but I spec Sims on my DDs. I rarely play DDs, but I spec Sims because I need that extra couple thousand HP to like keep me alive because I'm so bad in them. Armor on the Z is 6 to 20 millimeters. This one's 7 to 20. So 6 to 20 to 7 to 20. So pretty much the same armor. Everything's going to overmatch you. But the health pool is the difference there. The health pool, 17 to 14,700. That is pretty significant. I'll give them that. They said solid HP pool. I will agree. That's pretty solid. Let's keep going. Some cinematics here and there. Okay, hold on. Unique artillery systems. So let's go to artillery. Okay, so the Z is 4x1 by 128 millimeter. And here we have 3x1, 128, and we have a 1x2, 128. So the front gun is a double mount. Double mount. Which, I mean, that in and of itself, the little bit I do play DDs, I will say having those 2 shells instead of 1 shell, that can be a big difference maker. You know, you're low on HP. The guy you're fighting is low on HP. It could literally come down to who pins and who shatters in a fight. You're chasing him down. You're a German DD. You're probably chasing him down, right? Having 2 shells instead of 1 shell, that could be a big difference maker. So that, I mean, I'm not against that whatsoever. That actually looks pretty decent. So firing range, as a base firing range for the Z23, the firing range is 9.7, which is not too shabby. It's not great, but it's not too shabby, right? This one's 10.8, so it's a whole 1.1 kilometers more. The reload time is the exact same. The 180 turn time is actually less. So where the Z23 is 22.5, this one's 18. The max HE shell damage, which I guess that's a full penetration of HE shell damage. I don't really know quite how that works in the different armor pieces. It's only 50 points less. So like Z23 is 1500. This one's going to be 1450. So that's not a crazy difference. Same exact fire chance. AP shell damage is different. So Z23 AP shell damage is 3000 base. This one's 2750 for max AP, which doesn't mean a penetration equals 2750 damage. It means that you have to citadel. I believe that's correct. I believe you have to have a citadel to have that full AP pin alpha. I believe that's what it's called. So not a whole lot of differences there besides this front gun that I'm noticing, and the 180 turn time is significantly different. These other numbers, this little AP damage here and the little HE damage, it's the exact same. I mean, so whereas the Z gets 4 rounds on target, this boat gets 5 rounds on target. So it gets 1x2, and that's right up here. That's the 1x2. And you got 3 single mount guns back here. So you get an extra gun, and it's on the front. So that means you're attacking, right? You're an offensive DD, and that's potentially pretty spicy, right? Potentially pretty spicy. Let's keep going. Main battery reload booster. Okay. Now that makes it even more spicy. It's got a bigger HP pool, and it's got a main battery reload booster. So, hello, you Dachi. Am I right? Like, okay. Torpedo launchers, 2x4. Okay. So it's standard. Just looking at, we'll look at the Z here. Just looking at the torpedoes, they're standard German torps. I mean, not any crazy differences. There's a speed and the range difference. And there's a max damage difference. Everything else is the exact same. The Z23 is a 2x4 by 533 millimeter. This one is going to be a 2x4 by 533 millimeter. Reload time is going to be the exact same, 90 seconds. So if you're one of those people that like DDs, you're a DD main, you're going to be able to spec like your Commander Blue Fiora, or however you say her name. I don't have her. Actually, I do have her. I don't play her. And you're going to get that 90-second, minute and a half reload down to like, I don't know what it is, 10 seconds or something. It's going to be crazy. It's crazy on that woman. If you have it spec'd right, they reload so fast. So your turn time is the exact same at 7.2. Your maximum damage is different. So this is where it's interesting. Your max damage on Z23 is 14.4, which on something like the Alabama, you know, if I'm taking 1 torp, I will gladly take 1 torp to the belt on like an Alabama, Yamato, Massachusetts, something with a high torpedo belt reduction. It's going to be the equivalent to basically eating one salvo from a BB with good dispersion. I mean, you're looking at like 7, 8, 9K, and it's nothing you worry about really in the scheme of things. So it's pretty much standard German torps. Detectability range of Z is 1.3, where this one is 1.8. It's a little bit more, but how they balance that detectability range. These torps go 10 knots faster, which 10 knots might not seem like a lot, but you got to realize most people aren't really paying attention, and so yeah, I think these torps are better. Your range goes from 8.5 on the Z23 tech tree to 8 kilometers here. So you lose half a kilometer, but you gain 10 knots, and you gain alpha damage. Max damage here being 18.4 on the new destroyer versus the Z23 at 14.4. You're gaining the speed. I think I take new destroyer personally. I think I take new destroyer. I think all day in that fight. It's got 5 guns. It's got better torps in my opinion. DD main, but that's what I'd rather play. So let's keep going. I'm liking it so far, man. It seems pretty spicy. Look at that detail. Nope, that's the wrong place to stop it. Good animation. AA defense. Yeah, I don't really understand this at all. So we're going to do a little skippage. AA is kind of eh. Even if a destroyer specs for it, if it's not like the Akazuki or Fletcher, a CV's really not going to notice. And in like a Parseval, which is pretty much all I play. So 5, 2, 4, 5, 3, and 3. Like I said, I don't even understand this. But I mean, we can look at like, we'll compare it to the Z23. The one number I understand. This one's AA defense is 53, whereas Z23's base defense is 11. Which, yikes, brother. Why are we playing the Z23 for the AA with carriers? That doesn't seem okay. Like, what? Hold on. Z23's longest range without speccing for it is 3.5 kilometers. Yikes. Seriously? This one's at least 5.2, so it's somewhat, compatible in the modern meta. Z23 has an 11 AA defense rating. Yikes. Buff inbound. This one's got 53, so just that's pretty significant. But I like how you got 5-2, then you got 4-5, and 3-3. You've got multiple different types of guns engaging. Like I said, I don't understand this, but that looks better than what I'm looking at. The Z23's got a 20mm flak that goes out to 2 kilometers. Okay, great. He's torping you. He's already flown over you with torpedoes. And then that 37mm goes out to 3.5. Great. He engages you as he's on his descent to drop you. You know what I mean? So yeah, I take this boat all day. All day when it comes to AA. Z23 doesn't have any AA. 11? Yikes, dude. Mobility. It's an interesting looking destroyer, isn't it? It's flat from here all the way back. Flat. And it's got one little raised part where everybody sleeps. Whatever the hell this place is. Where's the kitchen in this thing, dude? I'm kind of hungry. Is it like somewhere in here? Or would it be up here? No, that's the engines. Right? The kitchen's got to be up here, dude. This is where the officers hang out. Where all the cool people hang out, dude. In the front of the boat. So let's go into maneuverability. I'm getting off topic here. Okay, so maneuverability. Wow. Seriously? That's a huge difference. Okay, so Okay, when it comes to maneuverability, the Z-23's got a rating of 81 base out of the gate. This one's got 78, but I don't know how they calculate that because... Okay, this destroyer is 2 knots slower before engine boost or before speed flags. Okay, it's 2 knots slower at 35, where the Z-23 is 37. The turning circle, the Z-23 is 680. This one's 670. Nobody's going to notice the difference. So you could just go ahead and say same turning circle. But the key thing here is the rudder shift time. The rudder shift time is significantly lower on this boat, ladies and gentlemen. This is 3.9 second rudder. Let's just go ahead and call it 4-second rudder because no one's going to know the difference. Versus a 6.3 second rudder shift, which we could go ahead and call it 6.5 because nobody's going to know the difference. You're looking at basically a 2.5 second, 2.25 second rudder shift difference. I mean, that's a pretty big difference when you're trying to dodge torpedoes from either a destroyer, a cruiser, or aircraft carrier, since that's what we have to deal with now. That's pretty significant, man. And that's pretty significant. Especially if you're shifting all the way from one way to the other way. That's where you really notice that difference. And then you got concealment here too. It's chalked into it. This one has concealment rating of 92, and the Z-23 has base concealment of 91. So let's just run through it real quick. Detectability by sea, eye to eye, on the water. Z-23, no camos, no commander, nothing, is 6.8. This one is 6.5. Okay, hold on, that's spicy. Detectability by air is 3.4, which is the exact same as a Z. Okay. And the guaranteed detectability is 2, but the smoke firing penalty on the new DD is 0.1. 0.1 is the only additive, so it's 2.5 on the Z-23, it's 2.6 on the new guy here. The ZF-6. Is that all we're going to get out of this? Okay, here's what Daddy really wants to see. Okay, so let's look at smoke generator, consumable duration 20 seconds, smoke screen dispersion time 70 seconds. Okay, reloads to 40, high reload, and then 2 smokes available. And that is just standard out of the box. So it's got the German smoke, which the German smoke is one of the worst smokes in the game for DDs. I didn't say I don't play DDs. I'm just not a DD main. I hate DDs. If there's a game without DDs, it's all cruisers and battleships, and I'm in a battleship. I love it. But, so it's got German smoke. Worst smoke in the game. Not talking about the Italians, because they don't exist yet. Defensive AA fire. Does it get all these? No, it doesn't. You can exchange smoke for defensive AA fire. I think that's what that little symbol means, like right up there. Between smoke and the airplane that looks like it's on fire. I think that's what that means. So, if you're looking to spec defensive AA, which I don't really know anybody that would spec that, because all I know is people like me, when I play the Parseval and I come after you in DD, you're not going to enjoy yourself, right? You're going to be spotted, I'm going to be torping you, and I will land torps on you. The only thing that's going to stop me is if you have hellacious AA like an Akazuki or a Fletcher. Maybe this thing has really good AA. We'll have to see when it gets implemented and we go up against it. It might have hellacious AA. We'll see how many planes we shoot down when we're inside of it. But 40-second duration, so you're using that defensive AA to ward off one attack. Unless you can get more than one from speccing it with your commander. Reload of 150. So you're looking at over 2 minutes. You're going to be defenseless. So for 2 minutes, like, the carrier's going to be able to just harass you, whether it kills you or not. Harass you for that amount of time till you get another one. If you have another one, it says there's only one consumable, so here's where this boat, in my mind, the stats is better than the Z23 in every way so far that we've seen. But here's where it gets really spicy. Is the main battery reload booster, right? Because being able to dish out that much DPM in half the amount of time, that's kind of, yikes. Yikes. You're not going to want to run into it in any boat. So the reload speed is plus 50%. So it takes your reload of, what did we say it was, 4 seconds to 2 seconds. Woo, we got Fletcher reload on a Z, man. The ZF-6. Yikes. Yikes. For 15 seconds. That's plenty amount of time to nuke a DD. It just is. That's plenty amount of time. If not, then you'll kill it in the next salvo or two after your consumable runs out. You know what I mean? 15 seconds. Woo. Reload time, $1.50. Number of consumables, uno. That reload booster might be spicy, folks. I'm just telling you right now. It might be spicy. Spicy with a base reload of 4 seconds, cut to 2 seconds for 15 total seconds. You have a 2-second reload with 5 guns. That's Fletcher, dude. Woo-hoo! Look out, folks. The Z might be pretty nasty. Engine boost is just standard engine boost. 8% max speed, which is, very little. It's just a couple of knots, 2 or 3 knots. Duration, 2 minutes, standard. Reload, $1.80, standard. 3-minute reload. Yeah, 3-minute reload. And then you get multiple of those. 2 smokes and 2 engine boosts, 1 main battery reload booster. Man, oh man, this boat might be spicy, folks. Now, okay. Are they going to cover it? Hold on. Yeah, give us the cool animations. We get it. You Torpedo Magi and AI. I actually don't know how they filmed it. Okay, before we go into this thing, you have to keep in mind the ZF-6 is losing its sonar. This is one of the first German DDs without a sonar. But it picks up the reload booster, right? So it'll be really interesting to see how that trade-off plays into effect. Whereas I feel like good players, they're going to be on it, right? They know when the DD is going to pop up. They know where it's going to pop up. They're going to really take advantage of that reload booster. Like, really take advantage of that reload booster. And I feel like the bad players are going to kind of falter because they don't have that hydro. They're not going to see torps in time. They're not going to be able to sit in their smoke screen and shoot DDs that are inside their sonar range and just don't have to worry about landing every single shell because they're inside sonar range. Whereas that's where I think the good players are going to take that reload booster and they're just going to daka, and they're going to really, really mess up the other DD. So, okay. The other part of this, it's a 2-ship review. It's the ZF-6 and it's the Emilio. Teaser. People have been calling this the Italian Caba. I don't think it's going to be the Italian Caba. We'll get into that. So hold on 1 second. Let me go over here. Let me pull up the Caba. And we're going to compare it to the Kaba, because that's really the only thing that we can compare it to besides maybe a Russian DD, but not even the Tashkent, so we'd have to compare it to something else. Can I not pull up the Tashkent? You project info? I haven't. Okay. You're not gonna let me look at the Kaba. Okay. Yikes. Yikes, chat. So we're not gonna be able to compare this to the Kaba. I guess since it is gonna be a tier 7, we will compare it to other tier 7s. Since I can do that. I've got the Xbox in front of me here, and I want to compare it to these other ships. We'll compare it to other gunboats, because that's exactly what it is. And we'll go from there. So here's the cinematics. It's a good looking ship. Like, I will give it that. Like, the Z, this is a good looking boat. I love that striped nose, dude. I love the detail they put into this game. So, survivability 24-4. It has significantly more HP for a DD than anything else. Akazuki is sitting at 15.9, so you could just round up to 16. Fletcher, what are you sitting at, Fletcher? Fletcher is sitting at 19.5. Yikes. Okay. If not Fletcher, then let's look at what else would be going up against it here. Let's look at Tashkent. I feel like that could be a competitor against it. Probably the best out of all of them. 16.4. Fletcher has more health than Tashkent. Of course, like, I'm not a DD guy, and they released 2 DDs. My first opportunity here is CC to review new ships coming in. But we're dealt the hands we have, folks. Okay, so it obviously has more health than any tier 7 that exists. Unless you spec for it. I'm talking out of the box, right? Christmas morning, taking off that ribbon. 24-4, significantly more. Armor 6 to 60. I don't know where the 60 is. If the 60 was on the side, then that would be like Kaba, and that'd be very spicy. We just have to see until we get Armor Viewer. Above average caliber. So I have heard this. It does have bigger guns than the other DDs. It does. Okay, lightning being 120. We're not even gonna really look at the Japanese. I think that's 100 millimeter. 100 millimeter. LOL. Let's look at Fletcher and Tashkent. I feel like that's the 2 competitors for this boat. Okay, so Fletcher 127s. And let's go over and look at Tashkent. I think that's its competitor here. 130s. Okay, so I don't really know what exactly 127 versus 135. I don't know what that little difference is going to make as far as pinning, maybe DDs or cruisers. I assume it's going to pin the exact same on a battleship. I assume. Of course, you got American improved pin angles and penetration values and however you run your commanders, but so you got 4x2. So you got 4 of these guns. These 2 shots. So you got 1, 2, and you got 3 and 4 in the back. Set up just like the Kaba. 135s. You get 11.7 range. 11.4, sorry. 11.4 range. And that's pretty far, man. That's pretty far for a DD. I mean, but this is a gunboat DD, right? This is supposed to be a gunboat DD. The reload time is atrocious. This is a free XP ship, which I'm glad they're adding free XP ships. You know, that's amazing. 10.7. Yikes. I mean, 10.7. Do we even have commanders for the Italians? Maybe? Maybe like some hybrids? 1A turn time is 18 seconds. So that's to go from here behind me to in front of me. That takes 18 seconds. So that's not very quick, man, for a DD. I don't know what Fletcher's is off the top of my head. We'll look real quick, but I don't think Fletcher's is that quick. I think Fletcher's is dramatically faster. Woo! Yikes, son. Yikes. Fletcher's is 5.6 without any captain, commander. It's dramatically different. So reload's long and the 180 turn time is incredible. HE shell damage. It's another thing that you have to wonder about. It's the exact same as Fletcher's. It's got 50 more for max HE. The thing that gets spicy on this is the AP. The chance to set fires is 9%. Okay, you got a longer reload. That's expected. All right, Fletcher at 5%. This is at 9%. Let's check Tashkent. Tashkent's got a 5-second reload versus this 10.7 reload. Got a 10.9 range versus this 11.4 range. The 180 time is pretty much the same. The HE shell damage out of this one is a little bit more. It's 200 more. And the AP damage out of this one is significantly more. It's 800 or 750 more. So maybe that's where you're getting rewarded, you know, in reload time. But I don't know how that's going to come into fruition, because you get one blap at a cruiser, broadside close range, and then he's going to turn. If he has a brain connected to his brainstem, he's going to turn, right? So I don't know how that's going to work for that 10-second reload time. I feel like that's going to have to come down a little bit. For that DD to be, like, you know, really competitive, which I'm not saying DDs need buffed. Battleship main. Toss him out of the game. I wouldn't care. Let's keep on going. It's a pretty looking ship, man. I mean, it is a pretty looking ship, regardless if you like DDs or not, or if you're going to get this or not. It's a good looking ship. Light cruiser attributes. AA. It's got a 30 for a rating. 4 kilometers, 2 kilometers, 1.2 kilometers. I don't really know what any of that is, so. Yikes. Okay. Maneuverability. We're going to compare this to Tashkent here. The Tashkent, which is the closest thing I can think of. This has 1 knot better speed. It's got an abysmal turning circle. I mean, this thing, I think the Alabama turns in significantly less range than this thing does. A battleship. And this is a destroyer, so it's got a quick rudder shift time, but does it matter if a thing can't turn? I guess that rudder shift will help it get around a torpedo, maybe if the torpedo's tracking them, but I mean, 810 turning circles, pretty. Woo! That's pretty big, boys. That's a thick-ass boy right there. A thick-ass boy. Let's just go ahead and real quick, like, shall we? Shall we? I think we shall. Where is Alabama? Do I have to go into my ships and pull up Alabama? I guess I do. Just so I know exactly what numbers we're talking about here. You know, let's do mass, because mass just came up on the docket with free XP. The mass turns in 710 meters, ladies and gentlemen. And this destroyer turns in 810. 810. Maybe you didn't hear me correctly there. That's 810 meters. Excuse me, how many football fields is that? Let's see what Fletcher turns in. Fletcher turns in 560, and I've always considered Fletcher to be a relatively good turning DD. Also got half the rudder shift. Woo! Okay, but let's go back over to Tashkent. Going into concealment, it's got a rating of 89. Like I said before, doesn't mean anything to me. Going into concealment, Tashkent's base concealment is 7.6, where this one is 7. Okay. So, it does better there by 0.6. Detectability by air is the same. 3.8 versus 3.7 here on the Emilio. And the penalty box is 2.9. So, yeah, pretty standard. Pretty standard. But I imagine anything inside that, at 7 kilometers, you're sitting in smoke and, you're launching your torpedoes. I don't know what the torps on this thing are, but let's see right here. I'm sure it's going to show them next. The DD. Okay, maybe it's not. It's going to show me the tool set next. Smoke generator. Guys, look, I've said for a long time, there is a big difference between wargaming and the Legends developers. Okay? These two people are separate entities, right? And as of right now, that's what they're saying. I've heard rumors the other way around, but this thing is called the YOLO Emilio for a reason. It's got short range torps, and it's got hard hitting torps, and it's got rolling smoke, which is cancer. Especially in our small matches that are close in, 15-minute matches that everyone is just basically bow in, pounding each other, working around flanks, trying to make better shots. Cruisers doing their thing, DD's doing their thing, right? They didn't give this rolling smoke. This is a standard smoke. To me, it actually kind of resembles a German smoke by 5 seconds, literally. It's got 20-second duration, consumable duration. It's going to puff for 20 seconds. The smoke screen dispersion time is 85 seconds. So you could click it, puff, 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 get in your spot, and then it's going to run there for 85 seconds, which is almost a minute and a half. You're 5 seconds short. Reload time, 240. Oh, excuse me. Reload time, 240. And you get 2 smokes, unless you spec for more. Pretty standard smoke screen. I mean, nothing crazy there. Engine boost, also exact same thing. Nothing crazy. 8% speed. Duration, $120. Same. Reload, 180. 2 consumables. Yeah, standard. I don't know. Standard. I guess the Germans lent the smoke machines to the Italians in the war somewhere. It didn't cover torpedoes. Did it cover torpedoes? I did not see it if it did. Artillery. Oh, it did cover torpedoes. Oh, shit. How did I miss this, dude? I guess I was looking at all that fucking beautiful detail, man. Because that's one of my favorite parts of this game is the detail. I love it. They put so much detail. The graphics department of Wargaming, regardless of what anyone thinks at all, the graphics department gets everyone's vote. They do a great job. Absolutely great job. It's one of the things I love about this game. All right, so torpedoes, compared to Tashkent, out of the box, these torpedoes have a much higher rating, 36 versus 21. But hold on. So reload time, 2 minutes on these. Excuse me. Minute 14 on Tashkent. 180 times the exact same. Max damage significantly different. This is much higher. You're looking at 18k on Tashkent. You're looking at 23.7 here. You're looking at an additional 5.7-ish, 5.7k per torp here. But here comes kickback. Here comes kickback. Torps, relatively the same speed. Tashkent, 70 knots. The Emilio, 67. Torp range. And here's your kicker. Torp range, 6 kilometers here. 6 kilometers. We already know it has a base detection of, what was it, 7? I mean, maybe if you had DD commanders, you know, you can spec inspirations on top of that. Eric Bay, for instance, and the Polish guy that I don't have because I don't play DDs. You might be able to pull that down. And you might be able to get torps off on people. Maybe. You gotta get it just right. The right spot. Get torps off. These torps hit hard, man. 23.7. That's like Shimakaze torp damage if it doesn't hit the belt. So nose and backside. So I don't know. We'll have to see. We will have to see. I'm sure there's going to be some people out there that love that DD and they pick it up. And maybe they do well in it, and maybe they just are trying to figure out how to play it, and they just don't know, and they just, you know, maybe they get dookied on. We'll have to see. We will have to see, chat, how this works. I'm noticing something here. You guys notice it? You guys notice it? It looks like me on the right, Aaron on the left, right? Look at that little guy on the left side. Look at that little man. He's tiny. He's tiny compared to me. Look at me. Is my head in the way? Go back like that. Look at that thing. It's big, man. It's significantly bigger. Can you guys see my mouse cursor? We could draw a line. You got an angle coming this way. Got to keep that into account. So we got a 90-degree here. Like that. Right? You got multiple extra feet here. And look at the tail section. Here's where it really gets big. Be something just like that. Straight across. You're looking at, you know, you could say the number 3 gun back. We could say about where the anchors come out here going forward. Add that together. You probably get a 3rd here. You could argue that this is a 3rd bigger than something like the ZF-6. Totally different boat, totally different play style, totally different guns, totally different everything. Totally different boat. Better paint scheme. Arts department, got your back. But much, much bigger. And as someone who's a battleship player, I can tell you it's much easier to hit something like a Tashkent that pops up in the cap versus something like a Udachi. That's just playing some... Ooh, you see it right there at the end? You get that top-down view? You guys see that? We're going to pause it right on that top-down view. That's... Okay. We're going to back up and then pause it right on that top-down view. God dang it, come on. Whoever's in the editing department, step it up. Okay, I'm clicking it. It's not, I gotta use spacebar. It's not, instantly clicking for me! Oh my god. Look at that. Look at the size difference right there. And this is like a small cruiser, dude. This is like a Dallas out there floating around. This is just like a standard destroyer. Maybe it's just a touch smaller than a Dallas, but that's still a big target, man. So good thing it's got that big HP pool. Oh, and I might have to steal this for gaming. I might have to steal that right there at the end. It's pretty fire. Pretty fire, boys. But hey, join the Discord. If you haven't joined already, join the Discord. Folks, that ended up being a long review. That's just gonna be a few minutes, but man, we really dove into it and we compared it to the other tech tree ships. And hopefully this helps you make a better choice. From my perspective, I would say that the ZF-6 right now is looking fairly spicy. I mean, I'm not a DD guy, but it looks spicy compared to the tech tree equivalent, right, which is a Z23. As far as the Emilio goes, man, I'm going to let other people play it. And until somebody comes to me and says, hey, man, this Emilio is disgusting, then I'm like, we'll just have to see. You know what I mean? We'll just have to see how it goes. So, boys, that completes this review. Successful review, I hope. But everybody take it easy. Take it easy. And I hope to see you in a live stream sometime pretty soon. Appreciate you all. Take it easy. Peace.